Sweet, sweet.
Okay, it is live.
Fuck.
That's worrying. Yes, everyone gone on Skype. Oh, there you go. God for that. Okay.
You can see the bin that I put into the chat. There we go.
The what?
On one of the boxes, you could see the bin, and then it popped up with everyone's.
Oh, the
face.
bin. I thought you said the Ben.
The bin.
The bin.
The bin.
The bin or the Ben?
Same thing.
Ben.
Hello.
Right. We are live at youtube.com/thecrossplayers. Copy, enter. Then go on to patrons. Enter. Then go on to Discord. And go to general chat. Alright.
Anyone in the chat yet?
All.
Oh, I've got to start recording a bit.
Yeah. Should we start recording now?
Yeah.
Where is Audacity? There she is. Right microphone. Let's just record that for a second. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay.
So,
Yep.
I'm
just going to plug my
recording.
laptop in.
you up?
He said
One
he's
sec.
going to plug his laptop in.
Yes. Been sat for ages.
Right.
Hi, Alex. Keyboard getting a battering there.
I love mechanical keyboards for that reason. It's just so excessive. Especially when you're like a business
Yeah.
call, you're just like,
I have to say, I love the feel of it, but yeah, I basically have to start every one of my work meetings with, so apology. When I'm typing, you won't be able to speak and talk to each other because you won't be able to hear anything. So, but yeah.
deal with it. Okay, I'm just going to add a little button for sweet releases as well. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Sweet.
Sweet. Sweet. New news. Sweet releases. Pick up and play. Questions. Done.
Perfecto. I am rocking. I'm going to restart my Audacity. I'd probably recommend we all do the same. Tell me when you are all ready to record. Laurie's back. That's wonderful.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Laurie's been recording since he joined the call.
I'll tell you what, I've been on for about, oh no, it's only been 2 minutes, so you're okay. It's not too much gump you've got to cut off.
That's a lot of gumph. Right, I'm starting recording now. Over to you, Big Loot.
Yeah, 2 secs. I've realised that all my stuff's not right in the right place.
Just checking
I'm
all the
recording
audio's
fine.
fine. On,
Yeah. Shall we clap?
Let's.
3, 2, 1. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, Ben has the power to make me laugh by saying anything. Just wow, Ben.
wow, Ben has lost weight. Nice. That's a compliment to you, Luke.
Yeah. Sorry. 3, 2, 1.
That's not bad. That's good.
Yeah, good enough.
Alright, okay. I feel like it's a new season of something, so we need to like... It can't be something witty that we start with. It needs to be something different before I hit the intro button.
Okay. On you go.
What?
On you go.
Fucking hit my
Come on,
teeth
do
any
something
prick.
different. Not witty, but different.
Oh, right fucking
As he hits his teeth off the can.
Oh, I heard that as well. Ben, haha, got him. Oh. Let's start it.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Kept you waiting. Kept you waiting.
Hello there, and welcome to CrossCast episode 38, recorded live on YouTube on Thursday, 1st July 2021. My name is Lewis, and today I'm joined by three absolute guys. The first of them being sucrose, fructose, glucose, and everything like those. These were ingredients used to make a boy, the perfect boy. Thus Daniel Ward was born.
That was perfectly executed.
It's changed.
That's a t-shirt. That I'm making that into a t-shirt.
Changed it up a little bit. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You
mate.
well?
How are you? Yeah, I'm good.
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. Next up, feeling down, in need of a good old-fashioned knee slapper. That frown needs to buy a ticket to Upside Downtown. Then don't visit this guy's Twitter. It'll only make you incredibly angry. Up to some, his tweets are finger-licking good. It's the Colonel. It's Laurie. Hi.
Hi, Lewis. How's it going?
Not bad. Yourself?
Not bad. Good. Glad to hear.
Good. And last but by no means least, making his CrossCast debut, I think, he shows proficiency in spending other people's money. If you ever decide to join our community, this man will be responsible for sudden, involuntary, and completely unnecessary purchases. Tremble in his presence. It's Luke. Hello.
Good evening, lads. Thank you very much for the intro. I was worried where that might go, but I'm happy with that. Yeah.
True. If you do join, Luke will spend all of your money for you.
Most indeed. Yep.
That's good. It's first time on YouTube, back on YouTube for the first time, CrossCast in a little while, which is good fun. So, have you guys got anything delicious that you're sipping back? What have you got on the old menu tonight?
I'm on a Pepsi Max, which is horrendously boring. I know.
My name's Lewis, but fine.
I've just had a cup of tea. That's how rock and roll it is in this household.
wow.
So there you go.
Oh, well, I've got a mosaic, a pale ale from Hawkshead Brewery in Cumbria, which is really nice. Really nice. We had a barbecue at the weekend, and I've got all sorts of random beers that people left behind. So I'm slowly working my way through all those this week. I've got a high wire grapefruit up next, which
It's always
I
like
like
all sorts of exciting drinks to
I
finish
like
off.
that brewery. They're good.
it's always like 3
forget that-
cans of mild that get left, and you're like, I don't know what to do with them. Do I just get rid of them, or do I keep them? It's like, shall I try it? It's like, that's a dangerous path to go around.
It is.
Just start drinking mild.
And what have I got? I've got First World Problems by Stuart Brewing.
I thought you
My
just
local-
genuinely meant that you had first world problems. Then I was like,
That too.
okay.
And
So
just-
it's not that type of podcast, Lewis. But we can try solve some problems for you if you want.
I'll try and crowbar in. And behind the curtain, the tramp is passing me. Radical Road, also by Stuart.
nice. That's a
Brewing.
good one. That.
Very good. One of my favourites.
Yeah, beast.
All right, guys. Shall we jump on into the new news?
Ooh.
Tonight, the headlines. Ukulele game deck. Sony buys Housemarque. Maybe Blue Point 2. Konami partnership with Blooper Team. And Ghosts of... game gets a director's cut. That's the headlines for this evening. Bit of news. So Ukulele has recently received a physical edition that you wouldn't be expecting. It's a tabletop game. That fits in your pocket, according to the website. Have you guys checked this out? There's an open pre-order at the moment for this on limited run games.
Do you want to see mine?
I think they've done a couple. Yep.
Do you want to see
Where
mine?
are you?
I got sent.
Have you actually got it in hand?
I got a deck sent to me. Oh wait, no, it didn't, because Ben's a prick and he didn't look after his mates.
Yeah, I was. See if you'd got one, I would have hung up this call and straight on the phone to Ben.
But, mate, you were already devastated. Austin got one. I'm surprised Laurie didn't, because literally, Austin's on Twitter going oh, look at my game deck. Oh. Yeah. I was like, Laurie's got a good following, so he probably gets something. Do you know what I mean? If he gets it from Naughty Dog but doesn't get it from Ben, what's happening there? It's disgraceful. Yeah. Doesn't look after his mates.
Naughty Dog aren't no Ben though, are they?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Ben's not quite there yet. Another year or two.
Laurie just be like that on his Twitter, like Babe Station, waving the box back and forward, point it.
Someone will be giving me grief for it.
Exactly. You can't say anything on Twitter without getting grief. But it looks quite cool. I think Game Decks have also released a Mutant Mudds tabletop game as well. It looks pretty cool. I'd be lying if I said I knew everything about it.
It's like a whole board game, but the size of a pack of cards, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can just take it with you. It's like the perfect thing if you're in the pub, I guess, and you just want to. You can, if you have the sort of friends that like playing board games in the pub, and some people do. You can just whip it out, and everyone can have a play on it.
I'm sniffing that.
That needs to be the next jingle. That's all I'm going to say to that.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I like the idea of them. I'm not a big board game fan, I'll be honest, but in terms of like something that's quite simple to play and a card deck, that does appeal to me, because I don't know about you guys, but like Cards Against Humanity, there's like a couple ones like a charades kind of base card one that we've got. There's loads of them that are really interesting. So yeah, it's really interesting seeing an IP like that on something I wouldn't really combine with it normally. Don't know why my words do this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I've actually got my pre-order in, and speaking about getting people to spend their money, Patreon supporter Mark got coerced into doing a bulk order with me. So sorry, Mark. But yeah, and it's quite interesting actually, because I think the Mutant Mudds and the ukulele, you can actually pair them up and play them as one game as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is very cool.
So yes, they are on order, but as you say, stuck in the pre-order queue because certain people haven't sorted their mates out. So we'll just have to wait to play.
He flaunted a big box of them on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Absolute prick.
He's going to provide it to influencers. Arsehole.
I guess it goes hand in hand, because Ben actually helped with the marketing of that, and we do actually have some lovely Ben news. Lovely Ben is still Ben Congleton; it's not a different one.
Still got the fingers.
Still got all those fingers. Big boys.
So big those fingers.
But yeah, Ben and his partner have recently welcomed a little baby boy, Casper, to the family. So it's 3 boys he's got now. What an absolute maniac! But I get from all of us. Yeah, from all of us, like a huge congratulations. Congratulations.
You do the little.
That's what we like. Yeah, and thanks to Jason as well, because like we've got a Patreon WhatsApp group that you can join if you go over to patreon.com/thecrossplayers. For £2 a month, that's it, and you get to come in that WhatsApp group. It's insanely fun. But Jason plucked everyone out of it and then just popped them all into this little group, and we all put money in, and you got a little hamper, a John Lewis card because he's a Tory, and a nice little card as well that we all put together. So it's good.
So who's a Tory, Ben or Jason?
Both. Let's just mix it up. I think Jason will probably take it really personally if I say that. So why? Do you want to be mates?
You can spend £2 to get into that WhatsApp group, but that is where the money will start. Not only will Luke force you to spend money.
Start spending money though.
Yeah.
Then Luke gets his hands on you and just.
Well, I think
asking for money for whip rounds and
I think the first test is Discord, right? You know, as soon as you're in there, then you might as well say goodbye to your wallet.
It's a death by 1,000 cuts with you though, because it's not like, oh, you need to buy an Xbox Series X. It's like, no, this game's 45 pence, and then that's like, okay, and that's like it's like the weed, and then you get like methamphetamine and crack further down the line. You're like, this is £3.50 now, and you're like, oh my god, it's £3.50.
Like, I don't need a Switch Lite, but £140 is really cheap.
That was from you before that. That was horrible. As if you were actually stood in Tesco taking a picture of yourself. Ben's eyes, my eyes, little yellow Switch Lite for £140. Wow.
I can just imagine you're just taking that photo like. Yeah. So big congratulations.
Congrats, Ben.
And,
Ben, well done.
Well done, Ben. You've still got it in you, or at least you did. Next up, Sony buys Housemarque, maybe Bluepoint too. So the developers of Returnal, was that correct?
Yep.
That game, Sony has brought them in-house, so they are now a first-party developer for the PlayStation. It was pretty good.
Yeah, happy about that. Laurie, I think you are too. I think it's a game you didn't gel with as much as I did, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could definitely see the quality of where they were going, considering it was like an indie studio a couple of years ago. And then they bring out Returnal. So yeah, it's cool.
I mean, the best thing for them is that after they did Super Stardust and I think Dead Nation, neither of those were huge commercial hits. They were quite well received, but they weren't big sellers. And I think there was a time where they considered going down a mobile game developer route, just to try and make ends meet, just because they weren't getting the returns. And obviously Sony saw enough in them to give them access to the XDev team to help make Returnal, and that obviously paid off massively. And now they've got all the financial security they could ever want, and they've said they're going to use the fact that they're now first party to make bigger games like Returnal and even more ambitious next time. So that's it's all good for PlayStation gamers, because it means more games like Returnal on an even bigger scale.
Yeah, and Returnal was a risky game as well. It wasn't like as if they needed to play it safe and wanted to try and garner PlayStation's trust. No, it was it was a risky game. It was really interesting. So yeah, it was a good game.
So they are one of 17 PlayStation studios. Do you want to have a guess at some of the others?
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, there we go. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one. You could potentially win a fabulous prize here.
Bullshit.
And that's a tiny way there.
Half of them are just called like Sony Studio London, aren't they? And
no, I could probably get
a tiny cross-players sticker.
I want that. Bend Studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sucker Punch.
What's the God of War one?
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
There is the London ones. There's Team Asobi now. That's one. Used to be Team Japan Studio, but that's shut down now. Now it's Team Asobi instead. Housemarque. XDev is one of their teams. Yep. They just do. Oh, but have you got the list there?
I do, yeah. Ben Studios, Guerrilla Games, Housemarque, Insomniac Games, London Studio, Malaysia Studio, Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, Nexus Software, Pixelopus, Polyphony. That's how you pronounce it? Polyphony Digital, San Diego, San Mateo, Santa Monica, Sucker Punch, Team Asobi, XDev. Well done, Laurie. You win a fabulous prize. You win one of these tiny cross players stickers.
Awesome. Well, look out for that in the post.
Who would you, if you were Sony, who would you go for next? Because obviously Bluepoint's rumoured, well, guaranteed pretty much by the slip up that they did online. But other than Bluepoint, I don't know, Square Enix, are they too big? There's rumours, isn't there?
That'd be huge.
Yeah, I generally don't like Sony and Microsoft just buying up every studio just to stop the other team getting it. But I suppose if there's rumours that Microsoft's going to buy someone and then soon Sony want to get in there first, I guess I can understand where they're coming from, because they want to keep games on their on their ecosystem. But just buying studios for the sake of it, like Housemarque is a team they've helped build up, and they've helped them scale up, and they've invested money in them, so it made sense to buy shares in them and to own them. But just going like, it's not Sony style just to buy random, and especially not anyone as big as Square Enix, and they seem to be doing more partnerships with new startups that we've seen over the last few months. Them announced. The only one I could think of that would be a good fit would be Remedy, but then they've just announced that they're plowing ahead with 505 games. So there was rumours that Remedy could be bought up. They're makers of Control, but Control they've said now that they're publishing the next couple of games with 505 games. So that doesn't seem to be happening.
Interested that I think there's been quite a few rumors about Kojima-san and like how his kind of studio is going to work out over the next couple of like months and years, and who he's going to be producing the game for. And then I noticed he tweeted out the other day, or earlier today it might have been, and Herman Hulst was like, "Good morning, Kojima-san," on the tweet. I was like, I wonder if that's him trying to court him and be like, "Oh, come stay with us. Or I'll say good morning to you."
The rumor was that Sony had turned down his next game because it was just even more batshit crazy for them. But Microsoft were like, "Yeah, no, we'll have it. Of course, we don't care. We just want a Kojima game. That's of course we'll have it because it's all part of the mindshare battle." But then there doesn't seem to have been any announcement of that, and we've got Death Stranding director's cut coming now, so he's still going to be tied with PlayStation for the rest of this year. So we'll see. I don't think anyone knows what Kojima's going to do next. He probably wakes up in the morning and think, "Okay, I'm going to make a game for spins the wheel Nintendo. I'm going to make a Stadia exclusive. I'll fuck him up."
Sounds like something.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
I would love a Kojima VR game though. How cool would that be?
I'm sick of VR games. I'm genuinely sick of them. I think that's a topic entirely. But I'm just literally make me feel sick. So I don't know until I get the either balls or find the right sickness tablets that don't make me ill. Yeah, I don't know. I'll stay away from VR.
I'm yet to experience AR. That's not like Labo
or VR.
Did I say AR?
ER. I thought it said
ER. The emergency room. Yeah, AR. VR.
Labo VR is cool, but it did make me feel quite sick straight away because it's not very good VR. I feel like VR needs to be really good to not make you sick.
I tell you what does make you sick, Labo ER, because you just get there and everything's made out of cardboard. I'm like, I'm bleeding. I'm like, get on the bed, and you're like, all right, whoa. Sorry.
Death by 1,000 cardboard paper cuts.
Yeah, that as well.
Painful.
Konami partnership with Bloober Team. Now, can someone please tell me why this is newsworthy? What's happening?
Because Konami haven't made any game with any of their IP for decades, and they're just leaving it all to just slowly turn to dust. But horror developer Bloober are a horror developer, made The Medium and Blair Witch games. I think they were The Medium. I think they were. But they make horror games anyway. And they've partnered. And Bloober a few months ago was sort of cryptically saying, they're making something with a huge Japanese legendary developer, and so everyone's kind of assuming that they are now working on a Silent Hills game.
Silent Hill, yeah.
People just go mad every time you say Silent Hill. It's become this kind of legendary. People just could lose their nuts over it.
It's not going to happen.
So that's the rumours that they're the ones making a Silent Hill game, and lots of people are quite pissed off about that because the games, they want someone like Kojima to make it, and he's obviously said he's not making it, so that's never going to happen. So I don't know why people are complaining, because like you complain for ages for a Silent Hill game, developer probably going to make one, and they say, well, no, not that developer, I want a different developer to make it. Oh, for fuck's sake, guys, look. You're in charge, shall we?
I know.
You should put that in a tweet. I reckon that'll go down really well.
Probably I did, and then I hovered and thought, I'm not going to send that. I can't be bothered.
I think with like the Konami IP and the way that Konami just seemed determined to destroy every franchise, including their sports games now. Do you see what they did with PES? They just put literally didn't even call it PES. So 22. Yeah. They just put something football game up as a demo on the PS Store and also the Xbox Store. And it was just basically this weird like tech demo for like the new engine that they've got within the PES game for like PES 22. but it wasn't promoted. It wasn't pushed out anywhere. I think we got the email from Konami saying, this game's out and it's this kind of tech demo kind of thingy, but nobody in the public knew what it was, and it was just called like Untitled Football Game. I need to find out what it was called, but yeah, really, really, really strange. And you think if they're doing that with a really established franchise like PES, which must be a massive money spinner for them to continue doing it now, even with all the games that they're kind of putting to the side or ruining. Yeah, for someone like Blooper to come in, like you've got to imagine that it would be to build something that people would have a big material or interest in, and that would be Silent Hill. So, yeah, interesting.
There's another Konami rumor going around again as well that Bluepoint are working on the Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, and it'll be like a Demon Souls ground up remake.
Wow.
So we'll see. But it just depends. And that people saying, "Oh, this Blooper thing can add weight to that theory because it shows that Konami are forming these partnerships with and they haven't announced anyone with Sony or anyone yet to make Metal Gear Solid, but people say it's only a matter of time. And it's probably just the internet talking bollocks and getting excited about stuff. But we'll see. I mean, it's good at least that Konami are making deals with someone, and something will be made with their IP, which has been too dormant for too long. Because it's just weird how this big Japanese developer, this great catalogue of IP, and they've just let it all go to waste. Really, shame.
Yeah.
I think Alex is in the chat has said that the game is called New Football Game.
That's it, yeah.
Is that the joking? Is that surely a joke?
No,
named by Nintendo, probably.
Yeah, it doesn't have an
New
icon.
Football Game XL.
Yeah, it doesn't even have an icon on the store. It's just like a literal, like, this weird thing that they've put out. The IGN UK guys were talking about it, and they were like, it's meant to be this kind of fly under the radar thing, tech demo-y, testing the water, because not really great as great online as what EA are with FIFA. So they're trying to improve like all these kind of parts, but they made a great point of saying it's basically going to damage their reputation now for putting this kind of content out, because it's just not a great showpiece for what PES will or should be or what it is, because they've moved away from the Fox engine and they've moved it to into what's the biggest engine in the world that Epic make? I can't remember it. Unreal.
Yeah.
They've moved it into Unreal for it to look better, and Messi's walking around with a jaw like a crackhead, and you're like, what the hell's going on in this? Like, why have they pushed that out? So, yeah, there you go. Messi's crackhead, sorry. There's the episode name.
A bit libelous there.
Yeah. And last up, at risk of opening up a older wound, Ghost of Tsushima gets a director's cut.
There is no collector's edition here. You can pre-order, I'm afraid.
Hey. All I'm saying is you've got to concede ground that this game wasn't good enough to get a Game of the Year edition, and that is why they're doing a director's cut.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't considered that. Yeah, didn't win any Game of the Year awards. But it came out the same year as The Last of Us 2, so...
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but it was still shit, so I wouldn't have won it anyway. I don't think there's a year in the last 7 that I think I could think it would... Maybe the Control year, it would have given... Nah, I can't even lace Control's boots. I'm not... Where am I going with that?
There was a year that was really, really rough a few years ago. Hold on. Keep talking.
The day's gone, yeah.
I'll look it up.
So does anyone know what the director's cut, what the upgrades are?
I do
thought
put them on screen.
Have you got them there?
Yeah.
I'll go with it then. You go.
So the upgrades, next gen upgrades, is 4K 60, which it doesn't currently do at the moment. There has been an update just to make it 60 frames per second, but it's still whatever the resolution was on PS4 Pro. So I don't know what it is. 3D audio, haptic feedback, and adaptive triggers. Obviously, lots of bow and arrow action going on.
Have they made
and Japanese lip sync randomly.
I was just waiting for you to say something along those lines. It's like he's going to come out with something like, "Is he still shit?"
All right. Since when have I been like that voice? Everyone in the chat, by the way. So
is he still shit? Like
fucking hell. Ben's gone. Don't concede, Laurie, for fuck's sake. Allow the gal.
I'm not conceding.
Lalina just said I literally just bought Ghost of Tsushima. Alex then said same.
But that's fine because you can upgrade it for quite cheap. It's not that big of a deal to upgrade.
Though. That's what he said. $30 upgrade.
But for the expansion though, so hopefully it'll be quite a meaty expansion.
Expansion what? It's like It's like KFC charging me £5 for 2 extra
You
miles.
hate this game, don't you? I love it. I love how much you hate this game.
It's just not a good game. Calm down.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's lots of excitement over it. Lots of people like this game. You cannot deny.
You like this game.
Case. Lots of other people. There's lots of excitement today online. And I'm good as getting an expansion because lots of people really liked it, and it's a popular game. And an expansion is better than a spin-off costing £50.
Come on,
in my
Luke.
book.
Did you enjoy it?
I've not played Ghost of Tsushima yet either. It's been offered by a friend to borrow, but so I think I will probably buy the PS5 version when it comes out.
Okay.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
Well, Ben is playing at the moment, and he's really enjoying it. I understand. I think he seems to. It's a great. It's
Ben's got a brand new baby. He could be sticking his head in the microwave and having a ball. Like,
he doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't have a clue. He's not even playing the game. He's just sat in the kitchen like, oh, this is a good game.
He's just sitting at home looking at a picture of Bruce Lee, thinking he's playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly.
No, I understand Dan's complaints. I do. It's not the most original game in the world. There's a lot of filler in there, but it's an open world game in a really cool setting with a really cool kind of storyline to it. That's very kind of cinematic, and it's the epitome of that kind of Sony, PlayStation Studios blockbuster kind of. It's like a Marvel film in a game. It's such kind of popcorn gaming.
It is gorgeous.
I think that's fine. It's not got any great gameplay mechanics that are going to win any awards, obviously, but it looks great and it's fun to play and it's got a cool story and it's just it's enjoyable.
Very good. It's a game that I don't know if I would enjoy it. It's something I would need to try out, but it seems a bit style over substance for me at a glance anyway. But that's, as always, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. And I generally don't like siding with Dan on things, so.
Just anything.
Yeah. All right, any other notable mentions for news, or shall we shuffle on?
No, I think I'm good. Still no Switch Pro, so I'm not asked. Keep it going.
That's still in news.
I'm still not happy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the sweet releases.
Ooh.
Sweet releases. Sweet.
Is that what you're playing now?
No, it's Lewis just ruined it.
Yeah, I'm just singing it after it's been on.
Yeah.
Sweet releases time. I've got a number of games here that are releasing over the course of July. I'll run through them in the first instance, and then we can work our way back through. So Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is on the 9th of July, Worms Rumble, the 13th of July, Skyward Sword HD, the 16th, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on 27th, and also 27th, Neo, The World Ends With You. Quite a little list there for July. Anything you guys are kind of thinking about picking up?
Well, first one, how the fuck is it July already?
I know.
Like,
crazy.
The fact that basically I've got a Joy-Con and a game coming that I don't really want in 17 days, if that.
You're not getting them
You always need new Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Your Joy-Cons you currently have must be broken or about to break. It's always good to have more Joy-Con.
I'm like a Neanderthal with my
the box.
Joy-Con, clearly, because the amount of Switch drift I get is ridiculous. Like, if I complained about Switch drift like other people did, it would be non-stop. It would be
your boy's getting close to the age where he's going to want to start playing it as well, and
Yes.
when he does, then that will just start fucking up
Although-
the Joy-Con even more. They'll be covered in jam and chocolate, Nutella, or whatever else you have in your house. Honey.
Sounds like you're threatening me here because you're not even blinking while you're saying it. You're just like, he's going to do this and then he's going to do it. He literally picked up my DualSense the other day and just went, 22, threw it halfway across the room. It's like, why have you done that? And he just went, whoa.
60 quid that.
No, he just went, wolf, and then walked off. And I was like, mate, what's going on?
Fair play. You're not getting the amiibo.
No, because it's after when we were speaking about it, we amiibo shamed it to death, so I don't really feel like I can.
That cracks me up. When I listen to that on your podcast, where you guys are talking about that, it properly cracked me up.
I was
when you're talking about someone justifying, because there's 2 of them in the pack, right?
Yeah.
It's worth the money.
It's one of those things that I don't even think I could just like. Even if I snuck it in, I wouldn't have the self decency to like be happy about having it on my shelf. It would stay in the pack and go upstairs, and I'd be like, I don't know why I bought that.
You wouldn't take it to work so you could fast travel on the go.
Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it? That's going to be, that's
not
going to come back
revisit
around
that.
as a kick-off. Yeah. No, I'm a
Uh,
purist.
I've got Skyward Sword on pre-order, and I'm really looking forward to it because I've never played it. So
Same. Well, I played it to a point, but I'm
not the same. Then.
But really, Laurie, not the same. I played it to a certain point and I just fell off it. I think I've said it before. By that point,
because it was shit.
yeah, at that point I was just sick of the waggle controls. I just wanted to sit on my arse and use my fingers. That's all I wanted to do.
Right.
Nope.
So you're not going to be playing with the motion controls this time round then, for the whole sword and shield, kind of waving it around. Have you got the Zelda themed Joy-Con to waggle around?
I'm all in on Skyward Sword. Everything.
All 3.
All 3.
You have the Triforce of Tat.
Yes. I have indeed.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing it with the motion controls because my son will be like, he'll be well impressed with watching me like swipe the sword around. And it makes.
Can I have a go? No.
No, he loves Zelda right now. He's really into Zelda. He's been playing Link Between Worlds on the 3DS recently.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I cancelled the pre-order of the game, and then I was like, pre-ordered it again, and then I cancelled that pre-order again. And I've been like flitting between like whether or not I should really get this game because every single time I see it, I don't want to play it. But then it goes a week, and I'm like, a new Zelda game's coming out, and I'm like, yeah, I will play that game. So I'll go and like pre-order it again. But I've managed to stay relatively sane and not pre-order it. So I've got the Joy-Con coming. That's the part I am enjoying. But yeah, I don't know, not interested.
You picking it up, Luke?
I'm holding off as much as possible. I think I'm the same as you, Dan. I kind of think it would be nice to play through it, but I've been interested that actually a lot of the Switch games are starting to go down in price like they've never done before. So I kind of think if I'm not fussed to play it day one, then I think it will be about somewhere to pick up somewhere later on. So
yeah,
I think that's the approach. I'll go for that one.
The Steelbook, you can pick them up for like a $5. It's not like the other like mainline Steelbooks or the console Steelbooks where they'll sell for like 15-20 quid. Like they literally, if that's the bag that you're into like I am, you can genuinely pick them up relatively inexpensively. So interesting. Ben said I genuinely can't find the pre-order to cancel it. If it's shop 2, there is like, if you go into your account, there is a pre-orders part because I missed it. I just kept on going into my orders and couldn't find it, so it might be in there. Also in the chat as well, just to kind of call it out, the Triforce of Tat. That's where Gary came. That was funny. Hello, Gary. Alex has called out as well that the Ascent and Flight Simulator are always also out this month as well, but they weren't on my list, so I don't want to add them in.
Yeah. So again, like Monster Hunter. Why am I struggling with that? Monster Hunter Stories 2. It's not even difficult. I am not a Monster Hunter person. I don't know if anyone else is here.
No, not at all.
Someone ring Nate quick.
Yeah.
Max.
I don't want to have to watch 3-hour-long instruction videos just to know how to put the fucking cart in the machine. Worms Rumble. Is that coming to Game Pass? I feel like that's coming to Game Pass.
I know it was free on PlayStation Plus quite a while back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say of the recent games I've played, I think it takes a bit of a depart from that kind of team battle kind of bit that they go going on. So I don't think it'll be a major one that a lot of people will pick up, I would say.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on like Worms Armageddon. That's where Worms ended for me. The one after that was quite good, but the name escapes me.
I think one I've played quite a lot with mates is Worms Battlegrounds on the PlayStation. That's good. Worms WMD, I think I had the same as Mark through Super Rare, and it was good, but it played like garbage. Like the amount of load time you had to have just to get into a match, with friends and stuff, that was really disappointing. So it'd be interesting to see whether this one actually performs the way it should.
Yeah, Gary's just said World Party. That was the one I couldn't remember. Worms World Party, also very good. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. What's that all about?
Yeah, so I've had this, well, not this game, but I've had Ace Attorney for a while now, but it includes quite a few different other games, I think, including the, it's like a prequel to the Ace Attorney games. So I'm sure it's 2 games. I just need to find out. I'll have a little look online. But yeah, like, for some reason, it's a game that I've bought and I've just never put time into it, even though it seems absolutely hilarious and really, really fun. Just kind of like that batshit kind of Japanese humor to it, of like the person gets murdered and then you're in the courtroom, you know who's done it, but you've got to try and steer the conversation in the right way to be able to get the person to admit what they've done, and that's the kind of batshit kind of crazy part of it all, where the aspect of the humor's in there. It's got really anime style. But the one that I'm interested in of it's the Great Ace Attorney, I think it's called, which is the prequel. So it seems like a more refined version of it, even though it's set however many years before actual Ace Attorney games are. Yeah, okay. And it's kind of like in this, like, again, anime style. Some of it's set in London, which looks really steampunky. And again, it's just kind of a really refined version of that kind of Ace Attorney game. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. I think I will pick it up.
What's that coming out on? What systems?
It's definitely on PlayStation 4. I should check what else it is on while you talk about the next thing.
No, I was going to say that I've never actually played a Phoenix Wright game. So that sounds pretty good if it's coming to like the Switch or the Xbox or something.
Yeah,
they're very chalk and cheese, aren't they, Dan? In terms of Ace Attorney, you'll either love them or just not have a care at all for them. But I do remember playing it in DS games, and apart from your own ineptitude of not being able to solve it yourself, they are a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, they are Marmite, I think, and that it just sent me to sleep really well because the dialogue in it's actually really quite nice and TV show-esque. So that is on Switch and it's on PlayStation. I can't see if it's on Xbox, and that's out on the 27th of July, which is a fantastic day. So that's my birthday.
Someone's birthday, yeah?
My birthday.
Neo, The World Ends With You. Another game that I know nothing about.
Yeah, I kind of threw this one on as well. So it seems to have been like flying around for ages. And I did, again, Square Enix game, but know very, very little of it. It seems to be set in right in the middle of Japan, in I think Shibuya. So again, the art style reminded me very much of Persona, but seems to be very, very popular. It's kind of like Persona crossed with Splatoon, like kind of perspective, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like kind of weird, wacky thingy. But I don't know. It just looked interesting, and I was just highlighting the fact that it was out this month. So
an action role-playing game. So what's that like?
Yeah, good point. Switch and PS4, that's out. You can get a demo as well. Ooh.
What? Yeah, you're asking me what an ARPG.
Well, just like, what's a game like it? Compare it to a game for me. I
guess the first one that would come to my mind is Xenoblade.
The world ends with you.
The world ends with you, Laurie. I mean, come on. Xenoblade's like that. Final Fantasy 12. Ben has a copy of that.
It looks like something Ben would like.
Crosscode also. So wait, 2 seconds. I've got someone at my window. Oh, thank you. Cheers. Thanks. Sorry, the tramp is bringing me my next drink.
Oh, the acting.
Yeah. Unholy acting talent. Right. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
No. Well, then Alex highlighting like Flight Sim's out. That does genuinely look quite fun. So
yes.
Yeah, I like dive into that.
Me too. Looks pretty good. I've not actually played a flight simulator game, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, they removed all of like most of the like landmarks, didn't they? Because they were scared that terrorists would use it in a nefarious way. When in reality, I'm just like gunning for Pete's house or in a Learjet.
Well, is Buckingham Palace not like a block of flats in the game?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's a block of flats, but like even just the ones, and it's meant to be. It takes away a lot of them because it could be used as a insidious tool to train people with. So But
Well, for people to make like videos and them blowing up.
Yeah, then it's just like a photorealistic of like my cat in the garden. You little shit house.
Lovely. Let's move on to pick up and play. Pick up and playtime, a section where we talk about things that we have picked up and other stuff that we've played. So going round the table, Laurie, so I don't forget about you, let's come at you first. What have you picked up?
What have I picked up? What did I say? The Return of the Obra-Dinn. That was what I put on the notes, wasn't it?
Yes,
The Return of the Obra-Dinn. Yeah. This one has interested me for a long time. The art style is really cool. Looks like a very me game. Lots of nice kind of quirky indie, unique, doing something different kind of thing. So it's been on my wish list for a while. It was on sale this week, so I picked that up alongside Firewatch as well in the sale, and also got Ori and the Will of the Wisps as well in the sale recently as well. So I've got quite a few games on the Switch now to blast through. But yeah, Obra-Dinn was the latest one that I picked up.
Yeah.
Need to play.
Definitely get on Ori. Fantastic game.
Shut up, Lewis. Fucking.
Is there an echo? A fucking echo in here. Jesus.
But I'm probably going to do Firewatch first, just because it's one that I can blast through quickly. That's the one I've been most anticipating to play for a long time, and it wasn't that long ago. I played the first Ori game, so
yeah.
So shut up.
I know a guy that likes Firewatch. He's a dick.
Sorry, Rich.
Yeah, harsh.
I also picked it up. It had been on my watch list on the Switch for years, and I've never ever seen it going down in price. And thankfully,
Luke came along and told us all it was on sale.
Basically, yeah.
You're welcome.
Lovely. Luke, do you want to go next? What have you picked up?
Yeah, so I think one of the highlights I've kind of picked up recently is Shakedown Hawaii on the Switch. So obviously that's GTA inspired, and yeah, I've been wanting to play that for quite a long time. It will probably sit in my backlog for the next 6 months, but I've got it now. So
it's there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cracking thing. I've also completed Sayonara Wild Hearts, and just for reference, I did not buy 10 copies and get my copy for free. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yes.
However, that was gorgeous. Absolutely loved that. Music is now living rent-free in my mind forever, I think. But I think the one that both me and Dan have both picked up and played is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I could spend another 45 minutes talking about how amazing that game is, literally from start to finish.
I'm going to literally pause you because I think we need to save that to the end, so the three of us just literally talk about it, because it's my only play as well. So yeah,
you guys can
we'll gush about that in a minute.
To the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go next. My pickup is a Series S, Xbox Series S that I picked up. It was actually about a month ago now. Snapped up that game. There's a store in the UK called Game, and it sells games. They were offering an Xbox Series S for £99 if you traded in PS4, Xbox One. So I actually traded in my old knackered PS4 and picked up that Series S. It did really feel like I was stealing it. I was like, "You sure? This is it?"
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Great. What a yeah, like 99 quid for a next gen console or current gen console. If you want to be serious about this, yeah, just a great bit of kit. And it's tiny.
And that was like the higher price, wasn't it? So there were some consoles. I think if it was like the PS4 Pro, if you traded it in and stuff, you could get the Series S for as low as like 50 quid or something.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was ridiculous. Yeah.
Marketing was solid with that as well. Just literally just an image with what you should trade in, and it was like from £99, even though some of them were £50. So it's like okay.
Yeah.
It was a banging deal, or is still a banging deal. You can still pick them up. They're now pretty much in circulation in most games, which is unreal. Yeah, and I love the Series S, mainly because I've been using it to batter you at FIFA, Lewis.
Me? Well, let's just say this, right? We've had one game in our game club for June tournament. 4 goals have been scored against you. I have scored 3 of those 4 goals, so really, I'm the winner.
You sound like
That's how I
British
would think
people talking about, well, there's only one team that England haven't managed to beat so far in the tournament, and I just remind you, that's Scotland.
Shut
Oh,
your
yeah, of
mouth.
course, yeah.
I was half hoping to come on with like full English face paint on, just to like re-emphasise you're an England fan, Laurie. Really wind Lewis up. That would have been good.
Yeah, great.
So-
That would have been great.
So Lewis, what were the first games you downloaded? Because presumably you got Game Pass. So what was it that drew your eye to put on the console ready to play?
Yeah, so actually, I'm now a 2 Xbox household because I've got Mark's old S. I bought Mark's old S off him last year, last August or something like that. So really, what have I been playing? Now you're asking a question. I can't remember. Like FIFA, I'd say FIFA 20 is better than FIFA 21. That's a question. That's a conversation for another day. I can't remember honestly. Sea of Thieves,
Yeah.
Rocket League, obviously Fortnite, all those kind of games. I think I tried to jump back into No Man's Sky, but I've got very low tolerance for that game because I just feel, at least initially, it is the game that was panned publicly in 2014 or whenever it was released. So to spend the time that I've already spent to get past that stage it feels like time wasted. But yeah, really enjoy it.
Did you ever play The Tourist on Switch?
I played the demo and I didn't like it.
No, but that's on Game Pass. Give it a go.
Nah.
Get past the demo.
I was like, it's such a Laurie game. I'm not going to waste my time playing this.
Look at him trying to suggest
Fair.
stuff on Game Pass through
Fair.
gritted teeth.
Yeah.
Go and try this game.
The Turing test as well. I think that's on there. That's good.
That is,
That's a good
yeah.
indie game.
And that's the thing, is that there's so
It's
many
like
games there.
Portal.
It's is it like Portal? Is it?
Yeah.
So many games on that thing that it's difficult to know what to download. Actually, I downloaded Perfect Dark, the Nintendo 64 version, and I've been playing that, which is a good. Briefly, I've played more Perfect Dark.
And are you going to consider to get a developer account on your Series S? So if you get a Microsoft developer account, you can put RetroPie and all the old classics on your Series S as well.
Didn't know that.
I don't know that.
Yeah. So if you sign up to a Microsoft developer account, I think it's about £20 to purchase, and then you can just flick between normal and it basically unlocks being able to install kind of Windows apps. So you can put like RetroArch and that kind of stuff on there. So if you really wanted to, you could play Super Mario World on your Series S.
Have you come onto this podcast and just...
So if you've got £20 in your wallet, yeah.
We're on
You
Spotify
haven't-
now, Luke. We're
say
fucking
this.
legit, mate. You can't come on here and start suggesting emulation, son.
You're gonna microchip my PlayStation as well. I'll screw at it.
I'm gonna microchip it.
Yeah.
Just say chip it.
Microchip it. What's...
I'm going
That's
to
it.
microchip it. You're not a scientist. Just say chip it.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I know, but don't add an extra word in for the kids.
That's what they said around when I was growing up.
PlayStation.
To be fair-
I've microchipped my PlayStation.
To be fair to Laurie, he did say that he bought an album recently on compact disc.
Yeah.
Right, Dan, what have you picked up?
One mouthful of Pepsi Max here. Try not to laugh my head off. Right, okay, I haven't picked it up yet, and Lewis is going to start laughing. But I really, really want to buy one of the new 2DS's XLs.
Yeah.
And I'm basically just here, if anyone's got one, just to whore it. Like, explain to me why I need one. Like, that's basically it. It's just send me a tweet, go to @downwardtweets, send me, like, let me know if it's a really good console and it's worth buying if you've got a Switch as well, like what good games you've played. Because I just really, really like the look of them, and you can't pick them up new anymore. So
No.
I'd have to get a second-hand one, and it's not really an expense that I should be able to justify, but we know what we're like. And
Yeah.
it's kind of, you know, when you just get your mind set on something, and I'm like, wow, that'd be quite cool. I'd play a few games on it. I like the idea of going back and playing some of those old DS games. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to pick up. Help me with this, please, anyone?
Yeah, well, I picked up my 2DS XL a couple of years ago, just to play like Zelda games and like the old Pokemon games on it. Obviously, Zelda games are now basically all on SNES/NES Online, so I don't really need to have the 2DS for that. But it's just I think it's a completely worthwhile bit of kit on its own right. The only downside to it is kind of what we're talking about earlier on, is that if you were to buy anything new from the eShop on it, you need to add credit to your Nintendo account and have that account linked to your 2DS. You can't, like, the disabled credit card transactions last year, the year before, can't remember, which is a bit, it's a shame.
So
because you can't spend $3.99 on Super Mario Land 2 6 gold coins. That you need to add 20 quid to your Nintendo account.
So I'm kind of torn between. Go on, Laurie. You go. I've talked about it.
I would argue getting the 3DS XL, the new 3DS XL, because so many games that the 3D is really cool on, and it'd be a shame to not be able to just turn that on demand.
I think
you can turn it off if you're not bothered. But
weirdly, they're cheaper now as well than the new 2DSs, which is just seems absurd. Yeah, no, I kind of thought that as well, but I don't know.
You can also change faceplates on them.
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, that's the point.
The only thing about the 3DS is that have you played one before?
Yeah, you saw them.
Okay, cool. Because I remember playing Mario Kart, whatever one it is, on the old 3DS, and it was in Xavi or whatever it was on Princess Street in Edinburgh.
Xavi.
I remember going in and playing it and not being able to see the 3D. Not being able to see the. I've done it. Derail. Not being able to see the 3D at first, but as soon as that 3D really kicked in, blood just gushed out my eyes. So I don't know. I don't know if they made it a bit better as it got on, but it was pretty aggressive back in those original 3DSs.
I tell you what, aggressive as well. Like when I was in CEX or Sex, I don't even know what you call it anymore. I was in there, and the guy was just basically, "Oh, we haven't got any of the new 2DSs, but do you want one of the 2DSs?" And he kind of like thrust it into my face, and I was like, "Where have you pulled that from?" And he had it, and he went like, "I was like, that is the ugliest console I've ever seen in my life. Why would I want to play with that? I wouldn't give it to my son to like throw across the room. It's disgusting looking." So yeah, that was my take, and I walked out of there, and I will go back there tomorrow and keep on going back in there for the next 3-4 days, because that is the routine and the habit that we're all in. So it's an addiction. It's not well. I'm not well.
Yeah, not well. None of us are. Right, before you guys jump into your Ratchet and Clank chat, I'm going to have to pull up get a pillow or something, get a duvet, have a little nap. I've been playing Time Spinner over the last week or so, and I have not been enjoying my time with it. Time Spinner, a 2D Metroidvania. You play your character is part of this tribe who has a history of having these, I forget the name, but these people who can control this time spinner, who can go back in time to amend certain aspects of
spinning
their world of spinning. Sorry, Adrian O'Neill. Lewis reminds me of a Scottish Greg James. What is that? Who's Greg James? Is that the guy from MasterChef?
No, that's the guy from Radio 1, isn't it? Greg James.
No idea. I can't remember. I'll need to Google him. Oh, it's Greg. I'm thinking of Greg Wallace.
It reminds me of a Scottish Greg's.
Yeah. Radio 1 breakfast show.
Your hair throughout this podcast has been like clematous. It's just growing and growing in different ways.
It's ridiculous. I've not had it. It's not been cut properly in about a year. I'm needing to get it trimmed. The story is cool enough. The art is nice. There's nothing wrong there, but the gameplay is just so boring. It's the kind of standard style Metroidvania. You get your similar kind of map style as like Super Metroid, but the combat is just boring. You just go through every room, hammer Y, and that's it. There's no real flow to the game, which is really disappointing. I played it for a couple of hours the first night, and I was like, this is good, but it didn't age well in my mind when I went back to it the next day, and it'd been on my backlog for a good while, so I'm a bit disappointed by it. I have officially archived the game from my Switch.
You're not playing it anymore?
Not playing it anymore. I'm done. Finished with it.
Wow.
Right, on you go. I'm going for a sleep.
I think Laurie's talking about...
Before we get into Ratchet, can I talk
Before we enter Ratchet, well, I'm going to be.
Before we enter, before we go on to Ratchet, can I just talk about? I have played and finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla's Wrath of the Druids expansion, the first of many expansions to come. It's about a 10-hour expansion. Okay. I would suggest longer if you wanted to run around collecting all the little doodads on the map, if you're so inclined, which I'm not. I thought it was really, really good. As expansions go, it's up there with The Witcher 3's for me. In terms of, it's a whole new map. You're in Ireland. It's a completely self-contained story. It's got its own cast of characters, other than you're playing as the same main character, Eivor, but other than that, it's all a completely new cast of characters that you're with over there. There's some really well done bits in it. There's some songs that are performed in it which you didn't get in the main game, which are done really well. There's new abilities which add some fun things to the combat. There's new gameplay mechanics. They've got a trading outpost that you have to rescue and set up, and then you can expand them, and it helps resources or something. I don't know. You can ride around on a giant lynx, which is just weird but quite cool. I just thought it was really good. A good storyline, and like I say, it's a nice self-contained thing. And it's weird, but getting this kind of strange situation now where the developers is making these huge single-player games, and they want to kind of monetize them and get more money out of them. So the expansions, there seems to be Sony are going down a Lost Legacy, Miles Morales type expansion, although Ghost of Tsushima's got a proper expansion now. And then you've got Assassin's Creed, which seems to have this expansion. It's got another one in Paris. They've said there's going to be more after that as well. And I'm all for that. I think it's great to be able to buy a game and then just have more games in that engine, in that world, without having to kind of reinvent stuff. And if it means that we can get more frequent games rather than having to wait 2 or 3 years in between different entries in the series, then that's great. Because I think 10 hours of Assassin's Creed a year for me is perfect. That's great. If we can just get every 6 months another kind of 10-hour expansion that's a self-contained thing with a good story, I think that's a great way to go about it. And if it helps Ubisoft make these games more economically and makes them more viable, then that's all good.
I think we've all said, haven't we, with games like Assassin's Creed, give me a 12-15 hour version of it and be all in, because that's the problem with that main game, isn't it? You've got to put a good solid 30 hours in to get towards that storyline. So yeah.
And there's none of the kind of bloat that the main games have. The main games are big 70-hour games nowadays. They are really big games that are big commitments. Whereas this is 10 hours. It's Assassin's Creed Ireland, basically. You're running around all of Ireland. It's got the Giant's Causeway in there. It's got Dublin. It's got constantly raining everywhere, which is just kind of like an in-joke, because it just rains constantly, and there's rainbows, dynamic rainbows, which is quite cool. I've never seen that before in an open world game, just rainbows popping up in response to the rain. That look really pretty. But there's lots of good like druid kind of folklore-y kind of stuff. So if you're into like Celtic, so it really kind of doubles down on that. So it feels quite different from the main game in England, where it's much more kind of the island is much more Celtic and more ritualistic and more sort of superstitions and things and legends and
nicer.
More fairy tales.
Ireland's
more
nicer
supernatural. Yeah, I mean, says the Celtic man. I think it's really good. I think it's a really good expansion. I think if people have finished Valhalla, because that obviously came out last November, so if people blasted through that and finished it earlier in the year, then this is a great. I don't know how much it costs to buy, but it's this year's Assassin's Creed, 10 hours, great. I think the Paris expansion is coming later in the year as well. But if you like Assassin's Creed, then you should absolutely play this expansion. You'll have a good time with it, I think.
Yeah, I really want to start playing Assassin's Creed games again. I've not played one since Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow, well, you left it at a good time then. That's literally the best one. Interestingly, you can get Assassin's Creed 5, the cheapest on Shop 2, and that's $34.99. I think Ubisoft have got their own.
5.
What? PS5.
Oh.
What did I say? 5? I might have said 5.
Oh,
Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
Valhalla
Creed
on
5.
PS5 for $34.99. Although I can't see what it is on
That
Xbox.
is good. That is good. I mean, that is a proper next-gen game. And that is a lot of game for your money there.
Same price on Xbox as well, which is quite interesting. So that's decent.
But yeah, that's very much Ubisoft's thing, though, isn't it? They sell the basic game now cheap, and they will use to buy the £30 season pass on top of that as well.
Yeah.
And like when the game came out, there was it is like a question around how much should a single player game be, and I quite like Ubisoft's approach where they were selling the base game for £50, but you could get the gold edition for £80. I think there was a £100 version as well if you're mental. But the £80 version is basically the game plus the season pass for the season of extra content, and that feels pretty good to me because you're basically getting 2 years worth of Assassin's Creed games, and it makes it seems like a lot of money, £80, but I think if you buy the base game and then you buy the season pass later, you're spending £80 over 2 years, and it's going to be like 100 hours of game there. It's a good game. It's a really good game as well.
Yeah, I need to put my head back into it because I kind of like the way that Assassin's Creed now has gone very like mythical and silly in some of the expansions. It just adds a little bit more creativity to the game than like the base game, because I've not gelled with it, but it's definitely something that I'll go back to in the backlog. It's not one that I want to trade in, so might give it a go. I was always interested by the expansions in Odyssey as well because the mythology behind it all just looked really, really interesting. So yeah, I completely agree with you, which is rare.
Cool.
Someone's laptop sounds like it's about to take off, by the way. I'm just like, whoa.
That is going to be mine. I can guarantee you. That is going to be my Mac Pro that's sitting in the corner, like screaming at itself.
Why are you doing this to me? Why? Love it. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say mine's having a little scream as well. But on you go. I'm going to sit back and put my feet up. Wait there. Let me check my watch. Right, on you go.
So let's think this through because Laurie, you're not that far in yet. How many hours ish?
No, I'm pretty far in it. I don't want to. I feel like I'm quite close to the end.
What are you doing currently?
I wouldn't say where I am. Just I don't want any spoilers. Really, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
You could probably say one word.
Feeling where I am in the story. I've probably done about 8 or 9 levels. I've just had the second bit where you jump through loads of dimensions during a boss battle.
Oh, okay.
That helps.
Yeah. Okay.
And now I've got to go rescue some people quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Back on Sargasso. In fact, that's the next level. Is I've got to go back to Sargasso for the second time.
And Luke, you finished it as well?
Completed it. It's one of the rare games that I've actually platinumed as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow.
Is it an easy plat? Is it straightforward?
It's a lot easier, I think, than the original game. So, the 2016. So I think the 2016 you had to complete it on New Game Plus or whatever the is equivalent of it. But actually, the trophies you can kind of get with one playthrough and maybe about half an hour's worth of New Game Plus. That'll get you all the trophies.
Yeah, I think the part that made me fall in love with the game is the nucleus of that old kind of platformer vibe where you've got the Spyros, the Crashes of this world, and obviously the Ratchet and Clanks of this world. It has all of the charm of those games, similar to the 2016 game, like completely tarted up, made to look like Pixar quality graphics, with genuinely good humour in it as well. So whether or not you're speaking to Mort, or whether or not you're going through the game with like, Clank, like throwing out certain like lovely charming like anecdotes, or it almost had like the God of War vibe to it at times of just being there with a partner that's legitimately interesting. So I'll touch on the graphics for it. So I think I was playing it in the same mode as yourself, Luke, which was the performance and ray tracing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that mode, I was stopping and staring at puddles constantly, where I was just looking at this kind of like little patch of water, and I could see the reflection of the light and potentially a rift in the distance. And I was like, I've never spent more time in photo mode. I was like constantly taking pictures in it. The TV I've got's like stunning as well. It's like one of the LG ones. So it was bouncing with light everywhere. Even the darks look stunning. The amount of time that clearly Insomniac could put into this game, very, very similar to what they did with like Miles Morales. So yeah, I fell in love with the kind of graphical style. I don't know what you guys kind of played it on, and whether or not you got the same buzz out of it as I did, because I felt like this was like the first like true next gen experience for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on, Laurie.
No, go on you. Go on.
I was just going to say, I think you're right, because I think Miles Morales, there's obviously that one piece quite early on when you're in a building, isn't there? And you can see along the floor all of the reflections in the ray tracing. You think, oh my God, this is amazing. But it was still the Spider-Man game. So there were only points in there where you went, oh, okay, I can see next gen poking its head kind of through and everything. But literally, because of the art style, because you're set in space, it's a Pixar type thing. Just from start to finish, it's just grade A gorgeousness with the ray tracing, and as you say, just all of the reflections that are coming off, kind of like Clanks, and all of the different characters. As soon as there's a bit of shiny metal, Nefarious' helmet and stuff, you literally, it's good, and it's literally as soon as you turn that game on, you go, yeah, this is going to be beautiful from start to finish.
Completely.
You can see why they've made it the pack-in game for PS5s now. That if you're going to get one game that shows off what the PlayStation 5 can do when you buy it, and you plug it in for the first time, and you want that kind of wow moment to convince you that you've bought a next-gen console, that it looks significantly better than what the PS4 could. That's the game.
So I've got something to contribute to this conversation.
Go on then.
You said the same about Astro Bot. So would you say this was a better example of that, of it being the game that would showcase this? So in next gen, all bells and whistles.
The graphics are significantly more impressive in terms of what's going on on screen. Like Astro Bot was sort of gorgeous in a kind of Mario kind of way. The games are really pretty, but it's quite kind of basic looking compared to this, where the detail it's just incredible. Like Ratchet's fur and the reflections of everything. The whole game's been designed with like metal surfaces and puddles everywhere, and water, and just neon lights everywhere. There's just so much density to all the environments. So yeah, you're right. Astrobot does have that next gen. That comes more from the haptics, I think, and the triggers that do it. The haptics and the triggers in Ratchet aren't. I mean, the haptics are nice, but the triggers don't really do much because you just kind of fire guns the whole time.
I was going to say, I think Astrobot's a better showcase for the controller rather than the PS5, whereas I think this is the PS5 and the next gen.
Yeah, I think the wow moment for me, definitely the haptic kind of feedback was ridiculously good. And even you're adding more buttons into the controller by the way that you half pull something and then give that friction, and then you pull it more to get like a different kind of secondary fire, or maybe an entirely different kind of round altogether in the game. The guns are fantastic, and that's the kind of like the plus with the haptic controller of like getting the best out of them. Flipping between guns fine, like again, hands didn't cramp up once, which I always thought they would do a little bit more with like maybe more tactile feedback from a controller like that. The one real wow moment other than the graphics for me was the audio. So I don't know if you guys played it with the headphones on, but as soon as I kind of had those audio cues, because one of my friends made the point and he wasn't playing with headphones and traded it in the end, but when there's an enemy behind you, it's very, very hard to tell in Ratchet & Clank. But if you are wearing headphones and you've got relatively decent TV, maybe with just good audio out of it, you do get those audio beats of like knowing where it is. But when the 3D audio is going, I like knew where everything was and didn't even think about it. And it was one point when I was like, oh my God, that's just been working seamlessly for about 2-3 hours and I've just not even noticed. I was like, that is next gen. I really like that. So yeah, I like the audio.
Yeah.
Cool. Last kind of point on it is, like, what would you have rated the game, just out of 10, just out of curiosity, from what you played it, Luke?
So I'd give it a solid 9 or a 9.5 for me out of 10. I think, we've talked about the graphics; it's amazing. I think Insomniac have obviously been given a bit more space and time, because I think there's some levels, I can't remember where it's the profits are on, and just suddenly you're, instead of being on quite a linear small world, you've actually got a bit of a open world where you can choose which order you want to go and where you want to go. So I think that was awesome. One of my only criticisms, weirdly, is the rift mechanic, which I thought it was going to be very kind of jump you between levels, but it wasn't. Actually, it's a kind of battle mechanic more than anything else, isn't it? So you're sitting there and actually you've got 20 or 30 kind of bots or enemies throwing themselves at you, and you're kind of fighting your way out of them. And actually the rift mechanic is pretty cool to get yourself seamlessly somewhere else, so you've actually got time to breathe. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing how quickly it can do it and stuff.
Yeah, it's a grappling hook, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
What's more
I think we've lost Laurie.
you can turn the camera around and put the camera. Oh no!
You're back again, Laurie.
Is it your laptop that's screaming?
No.
Is that okay?
No, it's definitely my laptop.
Okay, well, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think your internet's lagging a little, but
okay.
You should be all right. Go on. You seem
so I was saying, it was more impressive was the pocket dimensions, where you open them up and you can just see a whole level inside it, and the way you can twist the camera around, so it's like, oh, I'm in the world and I'm out of the world, and then when it closes, that whole level's gone. And is that loading? Was that always there? Are they loading that instantly when you click on open the portal? Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought, agree with you, Luke. When we saw all the kind of like tech demos of the game and like the early views of it, it did seem like really seamless, and like you were jumping into kind of like a completely different dimension, and almost as if you could like press a button and flip the dimension round, which was a little bit different. But yeah, it didn't really have that kind of technicality to it.
I think it had it once, doesn't it? On this is probably not hopefully any spoilers, but on the mining planet. You've got a bit, haven't you, where you can kind of flick between two different states of the world, which is amazing. But yeah, a lot of the time, I think what you're seeing in the trailers is a trailer piece. But actually, as a battle mechanic, it's amazing. But yeah, I don't think they've utilised it as much as that kind of hopping between worlds as maybe I'd expected it to, whether it was ever that way or not.
Yeah, there could have been a few more set pieces where you jump between worlds like you do in one or two places. Yeah, agree with that. I always think, what more could they? The only thing I can think that would be really cool next one is if they make a co-op mode, online co-op or couch co-op. Now you've got Ratchet and Clank, you've got Rivet and Ratchet. You could be.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, they could have done that anyway, I suppose, with someone controlling Clank. But I think if you made the levels a bit wider and open and let you play them in co-op with a friend online or someone couch co-op, that would be really fun. That's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, it just comes down to how good the story is with these games now, because they are such great cinematic experiences. It just really comes down to how good a story they can tell. They need to poach some people from Pixar, the people that made like all the Toy Story films, and somehow kept making them better and better. But yeah, the characters, I really like Rivet. I think she's a great addition to the characters. She's straight away just it's like she's always been part of the series.
Oh god, yeah, she was really well written. I think again all the characters were, but even like the fringe characters that kind of make it as well. I make the joke about the Morts, but the fact they got that kind of Fargo accent really made me laugh, and it was just really sincere and nice, and like the kind of go between. And actually the level that you mentioned, Luke, in the mining level, it's not spoilers to say it, but it's got quite good like horror vibes to it, with like one certain element. And I was like, at one point I was like, this is legitimately different and good, and I was I think that was probably the point where I genuinely fell in love with the game, and I was like, this is such a good quality for what you're actually playing through. And the kind of like ominous tone of it and the threat behind it all, and it was just a genuinely well thought out game that the levels meant something and progressed the story as well. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the next one's like as well. So it's cool. I would have given it a 9.5. Completely agree. And Laurie, I think, what would you have gone for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not finished yet, but I guess a 9. I kind of think there's a few things I can think it's not perfect, but it's very minor niggles. So yeah, 9. 9.
There you go, Lewis. We're finished.
It's all done. Excellent. It looks really cool. I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game, but it looks really, really good. I do I will say that it looks really good. And you've actually answered one of the questions. Eamon asked, when will we get that first big next-gen wow moment, and who's going to deliver it? So you've answered that by saying exactly that it's the first time you've really gone wow at next-gen. So
I think I still agree with Laurie that the first kind of one was the tech showcase of Astrobot. Like that 100% was that kind of feel of this is next-gen. And the first moment it held the controller, like with the PS5, and you get that haptic feedback from a game that actually has it in it. I think I played Cold War, I think it was. But yeah, then playing things like Returnal, and you can feel the rain through the controller, and it's gorgeous, and it's a completely different type of game where it's like taking all different mechanics and then jumping into Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, it's been quite a few experiences. I think waiting for the one that pulls it all together and gives you that 60 FPS or maybe 120 FPS with like ray tracing and all the other bells and whistles in 4K. I think that'll be the true kind of kicker, and I'm curious to see what that game is. So
I think just to kind of end it all for me, I know obviously Insomniac would have probably have lots of access to PlayStation and all the resources and insight to everything, but that's a first year game. So just sitting there thinking to yourself 5, 6, 7 years down the line, what we actually going to get from these developers, I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you think how long it took PS4 to get games of that kind of caliber? For the first couple of years, there wasn't too much on PS4 that was a real kind of killer app. It took a while.
No,
the fact that we're already getting that now on PS5 is really cool.
The PS5 controller is what I want to have a shot at that. I'm not had a go. It's something I really want to have a go of. All right. Well, thank you guys. That was mildly entertaining. Thank you.
Aren't you lovely?
Yes. Okay. We have reached out to our beautiful community to ask them if they want to ask us any questions. And I've got a couple here for us to answer. So in Discord, Alex, who's also in the chat, given we're now halfway through the year, what has been your game of the first half of 2021, and what are you looking most forward to in the second half? Luke, on the spot, I'll go to you first.
So I think it's a toss-up between Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank for me. But I know obviously it's an easy pick, Ratchet and Clank, because it's just been played through. But I think that was gorgeous. I think Miles Morales, when I played it at the start of the year, was comfort food, because I played Spider-Man before and you just fell into that world and you were just like, yep, I'm here for that, and that's amazing. So I think those would be my two picks of games that have kind of stuck with me for the year.
Lovely. Laurie, what about yourself?
I would probably say, I've not finished Ratchet and Clank, so I won't say that. I would say Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I really enjoyed playing that. I played the whole thing through in couch co-op with my son. It was just great fun. We actually played a bit tonight as well. And Bowser's Fury as well, I was really impressed with. I think that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit, and that I feel like that should be. We should get the next Mario game should look like that. I just imagine like a Bowser's Fury version of New Donk City, just a massive sprawling city with different areas that you can open up, and it would be awesome.
Still in the wrapper.
That'd be my pick.
Mine's still in the wrapper. Still haven't opened it. Got the steelbook though. So.
Did you play 3D World before? No.
Yeah.
You didn't have a Wii U, do you? Well, just get it. Just play Bowser's Fury. It's kind of I don't know, 4 hour. It's well worth playing just to see the direction that mainline Mario game could well be going in. I hope they're going.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Like I played through 3D World and started Bowser's Fury, but moved on to something else. So I've not actually finished it yet, but I definitely plan to.
And Bowser's Fury did take an hour or two to kind of for me to get it to understand how it works, and it's not very good at the start of explaining the mechanics and how it all works and stuff. It takes a few areas opening up till you realise the gameplay loop, and then I was like, okay, I get this now. This is cool.
For me, game of the first half of the year is Little Nightmares 2. Really, and I was hyped for that game coming out after loving the first one so much, and I'm really happy that the development team, whose name escapes me, pulled out the bag for the second one. And it's a shame that they are no longer involved with any further Little Nightmares games. Bandai Namco are going to take it forward with another development team. But then the next ones might be good, but Tarsier, that's it. Have left at a very good point. Like, I will actively follow them now on the basis of those 2 games. Brilliant. Well worth anyone's time. Dan?
So 2 games. Obviously, Ratchet & Clank, definitely. I think it's the tip-top one for me. But because it was a game I didn't really play a lot last year and only really jumped into much more this year, it's definitely Hades. So the time I've kind of spent in that game, it's like Diablo levels of time within a short amount of time as well, if that makes sense. So like Diablo 3, I think I played like 40 hours in about 4 days. I don't know how. I think I was off work for 2 of them. So this is pre-Jesse, before I was a bad parent, so it's okay. But Ratchet & Clank was like, I was compelled to finish that game. I enjoyed it. I was like, Soph went out on I think it was a Saturday night with the mates, going for a meal, and I was like, I've got like 5 hours here. I'm going to make a really easy tea, get the baby to bed early, make sure it doesn't have a nap in the day, and then just sit down. I've got a couple of cans of Dr. Pepper in the fridge. I'm going to have that and play this
Tactical parenting around getting your gaming hours in. I love it.
Exactly. I was just like, if I streamline everything down and I'm exhausted tomorrow, it'll be worth it. And I really like kind of finished that game on that evening. I was like fucking finished at 1 a.m. I was made up. But still, yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, they're my 2 picks, Lou.
Excellent. And Ben has called out the fact that Hades, no story.
Okay. I'm surprised it's still awake.
Yeah.
It's very it's no doubt you like that. It's got very much the same vibe as Moonlighter, I think, Dan, in terms of Hades. That just kind of, I'm just going to pick it up and play one more run, and then 4 runs later you're like, oh, I'm sure I'm supposed to be somewhere else. It's just yes.
But because really, the runs aren't Returnal-esque, where you're like in them for about an hour or an hour and a half, and you're like, oh, I might die at that point. Like, as soon as Returnal runs done, I'm like, fuck off, throw the pad down, I'm like going to bed. But with Hades, it's like, all right, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes-ish. And then it's like a really nice point to kind of end on the evening. It's got like that one more run vibe, but you've also got kind of a nice punctuation point to go, yeah, that'll do me. I'll go and brush my teeth and go to bed. So
nice.
I played a bit of Hades, pretty sort of 2 or 3 hours of Hades, and keen to get back to it. Definitely, I think I stopped playing it when Returnal came out, and maybe that made me not like Returnal as much as I could have done, just because that Hades has got such a one more go-esque vibe to it.
Sorry, I had to shut the door. Like, the bright lights I've got in here and Daddy Longlegs, they just come and start bumbling around like 20 at the moment, just fucking swarming around. I'm like, ooh.
I just want to say one thing. Ben, your no story comment didn't land. Don't ever write anything in the chat again and expect me to read it out. Hades, the less said, the better on that game. Just quickly, Mark has also put in a comment on Discord. What's your views on Dev Dude ripping into Sony on Twitter? Does it surprise you there's someone less streamlined than Nintendo? In a word, it does. In a word, yes, it does surprise me. That's more than one word. Yes, it does.
Me at all. I mean,
really?
I think the guy's a bit of a whinge. Like, that's really, really harsh kind of take on it. I'll probably get absolutely rinsed for now. But I don't know. I don't like seeing public things like that and complaining over, oh my God, we've lost Laurie. All of me frames gone out. He's back again and he's on a different camera. He's like Luke. And I really don't. I don't like the fact that the guy kind of went online and just started like bad mouthing the company that he has to work for, pretty much, or provide games to. You can choose not to. You can choose to. It's not streamlined, and from reading it, they've got a lot of maybe historic issues with the way that they produce and develop, produce and promote games. But he was also whining, like going, "Oh yeah, if my game's no good, I'm not going to get any airtime from Sony." It's like, fucking hell, mate. Like, if your beer's not good, it's not going to make the shelf in Tesco. Like, if your bike's not good, they're not going to sell it in Halfords. Like, there is a bit of a compromise here. Just because you're on that store doesn't give you the privilege to be able to just assume that game's going to be great, or at least that's my reading of it. If I miss something, then apologies, I'm not trying to be an arse about it. I just don't like seeing yeah, I don't people piling on big corporations is all well and good, but yeah, it's just a bit petty. I don't know. Sorry.
Fine. Guys, Luke?
I don't think I've seen the tweets in question, but yeah, I think you probably summed it up, Dan. At the end of the day, I mean, even if someone's game is good, right, you've got no you've got no right for it to be picked up. You've got to have a bit of luck, and you just got to work with the people that you've got. And yeah, it doesn't bode well for your next attempt, really, does it? If you've done something like that.
Yeah. Laurie, you're scowling down at your camera now.
Yeah, I think it was a funny one. I can see where Dan's coming from. It seems like a bit of people kind of upset that he's not sold more, and I appreciate you guys frustrated. He did make some valid comments about Sony not being particularly helpful when it comes to allowing them to change their prices whenever they want, and just having someone to talk to rather than just a mailbox to contact, which you kind of think a big company like Sony would be able to sort out. But the bit that everyone made a headline of Sony charging lots of money to access or to have visibility on their store, it's like, well, that's kind of what every shopfront has done since all of time, really. I don't know what they expect people to do. And if your game isn't particularly noteworthy, it's not one that's got loads of hype building up to it. Sony can't just give every game. There's so many games being released every week, like so many games. They can't give every game proper billing and space on the storefront, can they? It's just impossible. They need to prioritize the ones that their audience are interested in. And
this is going to sound very, very ranty now, but all of the allowances that development companies have been given, fucking Nintendo have been given. And bear in mind, like, Nintendo don't care about the players at all. They care about their shareholders. That's a company in production. Ben and I have spoke about this at length at times, and it's like Sony are no different. They have just gone through a major pandemic. They're a global organization that probably have suffered. Like, if Cyberpunk couldn't get fucking QA, Sony have probably struggled to have the resource available to promote a load of games coming out at once, because all of a sudden people have been able to get back in a studio or have the resources to develop games again. Like, you've got to give these guys time. If it's a problem that's been there and consistent for years, tens of years, whatever. But the guy's opening gambit on his opening tweet was, I'm going to tell you about a platform X that doesn't have Game Pass. So, all right, you clearly have pointed out the fact that as a challenger, Microsoft are probably newer to that kind of space as well. They haven't got as much infrastructure. Sony shut down apps and websites like non-stop to try and get something right there for consumers so they can sell better games to people, or let them manage games people, or promote people to their platform better. Like, they're all entrenched in the way that they've had to build their infrastructure up in a certain way. To just regress that or have the people available to manage accounts, even for indie devs, that's a cost. It's a lot of cost, especially for a company that wants to probably digitize like most other businesses in the world. So yeah, I get it. Understand there are things and imperfections in the process that need to improve for indie devs to have a platform that is sustainable and good for them. But man, like, it's a fucking business, and if you've got 20, probably not 20 people, couple of hundred people focused on a Housemarque acquisition and a Bluepoint acquisition and an E3 presentation and this fucking backlog of games that you're building up now because you haven't had the people over COVID. Like, what do you want? It's like, what's Tesco going to do tomorrow any different to what they've done yesterday? Even on the feedback of people, it's hard for big companies like that and organizations to just pivot in the middle of the road. It can't just happen. So yeah, hopefully it'll improve. But calling out right now it's not a Me Too movement for developers. This isn't a problem that people aren't aware of. It's just going to take time. So, yeah.
And I think to add to that, Dan, I wouldn't advocate them, say, charging $25,000 to get up on the front of a storefront or whatever. But I think you've only got to look at Nintendo. Look at Nintendo, where if you don't do something, you're going to end up with a storefront that's just full of shovelware, right? Yeah. Because that's the problem with, you look at the Nintendo storefront and you've literally got mobile dev games that, that are probably being thrown at ads and all that kind of stuff that you wouldn't touch with a barge pole sitting right next to Breath of the Wild, and it's just an absolute chaos. So you can understand why a company will put something in place that guarantees, for example, that the AAA games will get seen, and then they curate the best of the rest, I guess, to go. So
yeah, I think because the industry, and again, like, I'm left leaning, but the industry is exceptionally left leaning. The sense of entitlement that people have towards like the companies that they adore and the products that they adore, they've got no obligation to tell you what happens in that boardroom. They've got an obligation to their shareholders and an obligation to themselves, but they've got no obligation to tell you that all of a sudden, like you said, Luke, we need to protect our IP. We've got this glistening white PS5 console, and I don't want to see shovelware next to this brand new Housemarque acquisition that we've just put however many billions of pounds into. Like, they just don't. So if it isn't right for certain indie developers at this point, make better games. Like, use this as a platform to go and do something better, or put your game on a platform that's happy to have you. But at the moment, if Sony isn't that platform, don't just bash them online. It just looks petty. So, sorry.
It's fine. But I was going to say, I think going forward, Dan, you need to put the Tory alert on your Steam Deck.
Yeah, I might do it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I just a bit of time. Just last up on Twitter, Adrian asked, "What's the one game you'd love in your collection but haven't got yet?" He's talking either ridiculously expensive or difficult to come by. For him, it's Demon Vector on the original Xbox or Persona for the PSP. For me, I just want to find my old copy of Majora's Mask. That's what I want to find. It's hidden somewhere at my mum and dad's. Cannot find.
Persona 4 Golden for the Vita. I want to get a physical copy of that. That's something I've been looking for. And I really wanted What Remains of Edith Finch, but the physical version of that by Annapurna. You could buy it in a massive collection, but it's sold out on the individual one. So, yeah, they're the two that I'm hunting for continuously.
Laurie, back to standard cam.
Thank you. Apparently, Samus Returns.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Can't get it anywhere. Can't buy it anywhere.
For a reason.
I am. Desperate I am.
I'd say this is not a difficult one to get, but I just rue the day that I sold my kind of Glacier Blue N64 with some of the games on there. Yeah, it was one of those where I think I was moving and I didn't have any way to transport it, and I sold it. And just some of those classic games that I had on there. I don't want to even go down the road of trying to do an N64 collection again, but damn, I regret selling that thing.
Yeah,
those boxes were stunning.
Yeah.
They should bring all that stuff back. The kind of clear-coloured consoles.
Oh yeah, they definitely should. Like, nobody brings out any peripherals that are like genuinely interesting anymore, as well. I think Microsoft do a really good job with like the creative labs they've got, where you can just make whatever you want. Design lab, I think. And Nintendo, like the Joy-Cons, they really could have gone to town with them, but I think the drift stuff just fucked them over. So hopefully next gen.
All right, guys. I think we've maybe overstayed our welcome. Dan, if people want to find you online, where can they go?
At thescousetory.com. No, you go to at Downward Tweets on Twitter.
Lovely. Laurie?
Oh, it's fine.
You've got enough of I disagree with everything you say.
He does not need anything more.
Just write me a letter. Fine.
Don't put an address on it. He'll get
like
it.
Fucking Harry Potter. Just like.
Luke, what about yourself?
I'm on Twitter at Don Coop.
Lovely. And I'm at the Wilsonite. I'm still considering changing it back to what it was before. But you can catch us all on Twitter at the Crossplayers. You can visit our website, at least for the next little while, which is www.thecrossplayers.com. You can go to Discord, which is that very website, /Discord. It'll take you right there. Or YouTube, where some of you are watching this right now, either live or on repeat, which is youtube.com/the Crossplayers. If you want to get involved, for as little as £1 or $1, whatever it is, you can
Pound.
sign up to £1. It's been changed to British sterling, which is patreon.com/the crossplayers. In fact, I'm feeling so generous that if you sign up to the £1 tier, I'll send you this one of 98 tiny crossplayer stickers.
Is that what one of I'm getting?
Yes.
Yeah, it is now.
Yes.
If you don't want to do that, then the best thing you can do is tell your friends, get them involved. All right, guys. I've had a lovely time, but I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Au reservoir.
Wait.
Oh yeah, I need to press the intro button. I keep forgetting about that. Patricio said send your address, Laurie.
Yeah.
Kept you waiting.
Huh?